know Jake wanted to make a motion perhaps to amend the agenda. I think that would be appropriate now. Jake, go ahead.
Okay, I'd like to amend the agenda to add the resolution. The resolution that J.D. Vance is pushing in the United States Senate, the Freedom to Breathe Act. I'd like to have a motion to amend our agenda to add this resolution to our agenda today. I think if you guys remember 2020 through about 2022, how devastating lockdowns, masking, all this stuff has been proven to not be beneficial. The Democrats are talking about doing it, and you see some people out in public wearing masks these days. We really believe we should not make the same mistake twice. So my motion is to amend the agenda.
To add that one item, correct?
Yes, to add the
Is there a second?
freedom to breathe.
There's a second. Any discussion? Folks, just before we begin discussion, let me say that let's add it to it. Yeah. Thank you. It is to add it as bullet number 4 to the resolution section of the agenda. That's the motion, and that's the second. So I'll open up for discussion on this. You know, we're talking about amending our bylaws, which I hope we'll be able to accomplish in our next meeting. By the way, there's a September 15th deadline for you all to submit changes and suggestions for that. I know some of you have already sent in suggestions and changes for our bylaws. But anyway, these resolutions are sort of coming in late and sometimes not being fully circulated. Jake and I had great conversations about this, and I told him it would be up to the body as to whether or not we discuss it. I'm trying to be fair about that. That's where we are. So I'll open it up for discussion on amending the agenda. Josh, go ahead. Yeah, you got the, real mic for Josh.
Thanks. So I helped Jake draft this, and I called J.D. Vance's office and talked to his staff, and they are in support of this happening. And I think this will really help us with him, help the senator with getting this passed in the U.S. Senate. Thank you.
Other discussion on amending the agenda?
I, for one, am totally in favor of this. As was mentioned, we all were affected, but especially the businesses and the children in their, from schools and those kinds of things. So I highly, highly recommend this. Thank you.
Any further discussion on amendment of the agenda? Pastor, go ahead. Pastor, you don't need a microphone.
Thank you. I support this. Also, I want to thank Jake and those that participate with him in making this resolution possible. And I mean, for us as a body, you can fool us one time, but you ain't gonna fool us twice. That's right. And this is where we have to begin to have pushback. That's right. I mean, we're not docile. We're not just gonna lay down and let the left continue to push your narrative. But at some point in time, we have to show grit because we're in it to win it, and it's time to push back. So I'm for it.
Very good. Okay. All right. Coming attractions. We're going to hear Jake's because I think I got the sense of the room before. So Jake has a motion. Well, we'll make a motion momentarily, and when Jake's done, we'll take a little 10-minute bathroom break. We'll come back and do a treasurer's report and finish out the meeting. So, Jake, you want to go ahead and make your motion to adopt the resolution that you put on everybody's chair?
Yes, sir. Chairman, I'd like to make a move that we adopt the resolution Freedom to Breathe Act put forward by J.D. Vance in the United States Senate. I think we need to do this. I think if you all remember what it was like in 2020, really to 22, and probably it never would have stopped if our legislators didn't step in and make a change here in Ohio. And the Democrats misuse this stuff. They use it as control. They put masks on our children. And I'll tell you, one of the ways we all communicate is, verbally, by communicating, smiling, looking at people. And these things are like muzzles on our kids, and it's difficult for them to learn how to read. It's just devastating across the board. Mandates, lockdowns, and masks don't work. They didn't work. And so my motion is that we pass this Freedom to Breathe Act
There's a
resolution.
resolution that you've been provided this morning, we amended the agenda, so you could consider it. Is there a second on that? Josh Brown has seconded the motion. I know we had some discussion about it before. Any further discussion on adopting resolution? Josh Brown.
Thank you. I just want you to know, I helped Jake draft this. All the language comes from J.D. Vance's own office, except for the last paragraph. And J.D. Vance's office put out a press release on this bill. And in that press release, there was a link to a Fox News article about the bill. So some of the language comes from that Fox News article, and some of it comes from the rest of it comes from the actual press release itself. And the last paragraph we just wrote, and it's pretty generic, non-controversial. So I just want you to know that what you're voting for is 100% not only J.D. Vance's own language, but it's also explicitly supported by him and his office. Thank you.
Hearing none. All in favor of adopting the resolution?